just got to find out what's going on the radio, Millie. I will get back to you. I can't manipulate or monopolize the sighting. And I don't know if these two paparazzi vehicles are... Yeah, they are. I think they probably found her, which means they're going to be allowed to spend a lot longer here. Anyway, Millie, the male set up a territory probably about 3 times the size of a female's territory, which is marvelous for him, of course. And the females are normally in that area, normally related to each other, cousins or perhaps sisters. And in this case, she is actually inside the daughter's territory. They won't have particularly aggressive interactions with each other, but they certainly will attempt. They will certainly keep exclusive homes unless the male is mating. Okay, we're okay actually. We can stay a bit longer. I see the first paparazzi has left. So Millie, I hope that answers your question. And then just a little recap for our highly astute 8-year-old Gracie from Ohio. Gracie, you want to know, did the leopards kill this animal? Yes, they did, Gracie. They have to eat, so they do have to kill. And while it's not very nice, you must remember that the buffalo, which was killed by both these leopards together, probably didn't feel anything. You'll find that they go into a condition called shock, and when there's big shock like that, they don't feel anything. And so it looks pretty grim, pretty ugly, but I don't think you need to worry about the buffalo. It wouldn't have felt much. Right, let's see what she does now. Just to give you an idea, I mean, for her to be picking up, she's an animal that probably weighs about 50 kilograms, so not a lot, say 110 pounds. For her to be picking up and dragging a buffalo around of that mass, that buffalo probably weighs 200 kilos, so 440 pounds. It really is quite astonishing, the strength of a leopard. Extremely powerful animals. I'm really wondering why on earth the buffalo are taking such a hammering even away from the water. Isn't that wonderful? Very good question from Barbara in Missouri. Barbara, you say you saw Tingana and Karula mating a while back, and sorry, it's the radio again, everybody. Okay, I can talk again. Sorry about that. Barbara in Missouri, she was seen mating with Tingana a while back, 3 months ago, absolutely, and we thought maybe she'd had cubs, and we thought maybe she was pregnant, because she's got a slightly saggy belly as this leopard, and so she does kind of give the impression of being pregnant even when she isn't. And so absolutely we thought that maybe she was pregnant, and like you've surmised, just like with humans, just like with many mammals, not every copulation will result in a pregnancy, and certainly with leopards as they get a bit older, she's now 11, she will start to, those mating affairs it'll be slightly more difficult for her to conceive, I think, the older that she gets. Right, and a very good point from MJ Bradley here, that Tingana has been seen mating with Karula, Kwatile and Shadow. And as far as we know, none of them have fallen pregnant, so maybe the problem is not with them, but with him. I think that's well, you've seen how enthusiastic he is about his job, so it may well be that he's, maybe he has got a problem. Maybe he's just overworked on that front, and perhaps not physiologically in the state that he should be. There goes the second van of paparazzi. I don't know if you can hear that tearing, much like the lions today. She's keeping a very close eye on him. She doesn't want him to disappear and make her find him again. But much like the lions, that they are pulling the meat off the bone with the carnassial teeth, and those carnassial teeth are the molars that close over each other a bit like a pair of scissors. So very unlike yours. And I was just saying today, before I think Brent Leo Smith found something amazing, I was just saying today, if you really want to understand how that works, go outside or inside, find your house cat or your house dog, give it something to calm it down, and then peel the lips back and just watch, and open and shut the jaw if you've got a particularly compliant dog, and you'll see how those teeth close inside each other, just like a pair of scissors, and that's what really helps them to shear the meat off the bone. They don't have those molars to chew like we do. They have them to shear the meat off the bone and the skin. And look at her, you could walk straight past that bush. And then an interesting one from Judith. What we're going to do is we'll go and have a look at the male. Just he's gone back to sleep. Okay, we'll stay with her for now. Judith, you say it looks like female, like leopards are very slow eaters compared with lions. You haven't seen her pull off a big piece of meat. I think most of the big meat is probably gone. It's also not easily accessible. The big meat, the kind of fillets at the back and the backside, the hindquarters, quite difficult to get to in a buffalo because the skin is so hard. So they normally go kind of in and around the rib cage. So most of the big stuff, the easily takeable stuff, will be gone already. And so she'll be taking bits and pieces off the ribs and almost eating it. Without being too grim, she's basically eating, the stomach is out and been gone, and they've probably taken the fillets out, the loins, and she's now probably into the kind of shoulder region and under the shoulders and around the feet and that sort of thing. I think she's into sort of the flaps of skin that would go over the ribs and around the stomach. And so there's not a huge amount of big pieces of muscle in there. That, of course, is what meat is. It's the muscle. But you can see, you did see that he was panting hugely. And then a very good one from Yvonne in Sweden and Colleen in Virginia Beach. Certainly you have correctly surmised that isn't it unusual for a leopard to hunt in pairs, first of all, and then to kill a buffalo? Both are unusual, yes. This is a young leopard, at least a young buffalo, and I think what you'll find is that because of they were together, they were able to take a much larger piece of prey than they would normally take. Certainly this would be beyond her capabilities as a leopard, on her leopard, female leopard. A male will sometimes take a young buffalo, but not very often. So this is unusual. Well spotted there, Yvonne and Colleen. quite a stink in the air. We're sitting downwind from the carcass, and so the innards of the buffalo, which are probably round about the carcass, are wafting over us. There you can see her using those carnassial teeth now, shearing the meat off the skin. You might even be able to hear it. Isn't that wonderful? Very special indeed. Now we're not going to be able to spend too much longer here, I don't think. So should you have any questions, please just fire them through quickly. Hashtag Safari Live or questions at WildEarthTV. I may be wrong, we might be able to sit here a bit longer. Good question from Kathy in Memphis, Tennessee. Who was making the sound when they first started mating? Was it the female or the male? Initially it was her. She was growling at him as she sort of thrust her back end into his face, and that was her growling, trying to induce some kind of enthusiastic response from him. When he eventually stood up and did his duty, he started to growl, because of course it is quite painful for him. And then when he withdrew, he made an enormous noise, because that's when the kind of culmination of the pain is, and they both would have growled then, and you saw them swat at each other, and so it would have been both of them growling. Very good question, thanks Kathy. Now Shamrock, you are clearly not at work because it's Saturday, so you're hopefully watching at home. You've asked a question that I'm not entirely sure I can answer. In fact, I'm pretty sure I can't, but I'm going to give it a go anyway. Shamrock, you want to know, well, first of all, you point out that even solitary big cats are able to cooperatively hunt. And why is it that lions have become the only cooperative hunters in the world? Why are they the only ones that have evolved to be cooperative? They're actually the only social cats that exist, apart from. And why is that, and at what point in time did that happen? The last part of your question, Shamrock, I couldn't begin to tell you, so I'm not going to guess. But why, as to why they are the only cooperative ones, I think it's got something to do with size. I think it's got to do with habitat. So let's take a similar sized cat like a tiger. Well, first of all, let's say this. Lionesses on their own are perfectly capable of living very, very contentedly on their own. They hunt actually better. They have a higher success rate of hunting than do, say, two lionesses on their own. But once you get above, when you get to say, ooh, it's the first ammo falcon of the year, I think. No, it's not. It might be. Could be. We'll go with it. Andrew didn't get a good enough view of it for anyone to contradict me. I'm going to go with ammo falcon on that one. So, Shamrock, just to reiterate, the two lionesses are slightly more are less successful than a single lioness. When they get to about 3 lionesses, they tend to eat about as much meat as a single lioness, and beyond that they eat a bit more. And so we think that they evolved into cooperative hunters mainly because it wasn't for hunting. It was probably for protection of the youngsters, and certainly that seems to be the case. Now, why that should have happened here and not with tigers or with leopards. I think leopards are better at hiding. They're smaller, so it's much easier, much like with a steenbok or a herding antelope. A herding antelope don't occur beyond or below a certain size. I think it's probably a similar reason for the cats. And then for something like a tiger, it lives in generally pretty thick bush in much sparser or less game-rich areas. And so you'll find that living on their own is probably a more successful feeding strategy, and because they're able to hide, probably a pretty good breeding strategy as well. That's my basic answer for you, Shamrock. I hope it is satisfactory. Let's have one more look, then I'm afraid we're going to have to pull out of the sighting because there are other people standing by to come in. I'm just going to talk on the radio quickly. Station on standby 1 for leopard lock. Sorry, go again with that. Is there anyone on standby for this sighting of Knobthorne clearing? Affirmative. Copy that. How close are you? Okay, copy that. I'll be out in 2. Okay, everyone. We're going to just have a quick look. We're just going to have a quick look at the mail. It's going to be a drive-by view, and then we're going to head out at the sighting. Right, now while we do that, we are live, but go ahead. No, go for it.
What cycle you call?
What cycle?
Site.
Oh, www.wildsafariLive.com. Let's enjoy. We're just going to move through here. Question from Gecko. Very nice name, Twitter handle that. I'm not sure we've heard from you before. So if it is perhaps your first foray into the world of tweeting to Wild Safari Live, thank you for your tweet. Your question, you want to know what happens to the stomach contents. The answer is that they do eat the stomach, well no, not the stomach contents, they will eat the stomach lining, certainly the intestines in the actual stomach. They'll kind of feed the intestines through the teeth, and they pull out the bolus, or the kind of ruminated chewed up grass material. Quick look at the young Tingana here, and then we're going to head out. Very quick look, and then they will eat all of the rest of the offal as well. Okay, right, we've got 10 more seconds on him. Isn't he marvellous? And you can just see, I'm sure you can see already, that he is twice the size that she is. Beautiful. Okay, that's it, everyone. Marvellous leopard sighting. Very lucky to have got in here. We will now head off and see what else the world and the wonders of the Kruger National Park have to offer us. Sorry we have to leave. The road to Djuma is just there, actually, so with any luck, they've decided Arathusa is not the place for them, and moved on to Djuma by tomorrow. Wasn't that just wonderful? So special. 2 matings, unusual kill, feeding behaviour, all sorts, brilliant questions from all of you. Stations, I'm leaving the leopard lock off Knobthorne clearings. 2 stations there, I think there are 3 or so on standby. Let's go. Right, let us head back to Djuma, get away from the screaming radio. So I must just apologize again. The radio, of course, is a very necessary part. I think we're going to go across to Brent quickly. I believe he's no, I'm getting confused. No, staying with us, sorry. Apparently Brent is taking selfies of himself, and so he's not ready to speak to you just yet. So once he's finished doing that, we'll send you back across to him for an update. But what I did want to say is this radio is obviously a very important thing, and while it is sometimes a little bit irksome to have in your ear the whole time, without it, of course, all of the tourists here who come here and provide the income or the reason for how we are able to drive around this beautiful piece of land, without the radio, unfortunately, they wouldn't see half of what they do. So, unfortunately, it is a necessary evil, if you like. I think we had a question. Just waiting to see if it will come through. There we go. And then what is the evolutionary reason for whiskers, from Rebecca in Santa Barbara? Rebecca, as far as I understand it, it is for, like you've surmised, for sensing in the dark and that sort of thing. Somebody might be able to give you a better answer on the Twitter sphere. If anybody thinks I'm making an incorrect answer, please feel free to say so. I think the reason for whiskers is that certainly when they're moving in the dark, they see very well in the dark, but when they're hunting, it's obviously crucial for them to be able to feel any kind of vegetation or any kind of thing that might make a noise while they're on the hunt. I think that's the reason for it. Now, that's certainly what we've been led to believe, but there may be some more modern research that I'm not aware of yet that would be different from that. Good question, Rebecca. Right, we are back towards Djuma. Boop, boop. This is the boundary between Djuma and Arathusa, so you can see we're pretty close to it. So with any luck, those leopards will abscond and have their breakfast with us tomorrow morning. Right, Brent has finally stopped taking pictures of himself, and we'll go across to him. He can tell you about them, and I think he's got some antelope with him as well. See you just now.
So we're quite close to where we were with the lions earlier, and we're just waiting. There's 3 vehicles there at the moment, and as soon as we get a chance, we're going to go follow up on them. And while we're there, you can see all the puffed up impala, all cold, very cold this evening. They're disappearing into the greenery, and so shall we. So I know James has been slightly informing you of what Brian and I were doing. We are trying to get behind our team. The South Africa probably kicked off against Wales a few minutes ago, and even underneath my Bush shirt today I have my Springbok rugby jersey. You can see there's the Springbok rugby emblem, and hopefully we take it all the way, smash Wales in the quarterfinals, go on to smash either New Zealand or France in the the semis, and I think take Australia in the finals. Just take it all the way. After our rocky starts, I'm a bit nervous, but hopefully that'll come through. Put my jersey back on. It's quite nippy out here. Helps if I put it on the right way around. There we go. So about a week and a half or 2 weeks ago, I noticed a spot where it looked like the hornbills were starting to build a nest. It's a bit early, but we can have a quick look now to see if there's any further developments on that hole. That's hornbill nest. So Gregory, we're going to pop past it right now. So let's just have a quick look at this. Let me just get the spotlight on in case we need it. It'll be quite dark up there. Doesn't look like there's any further building on that spot. Just get this spotlight in the right spot. There we go. You can see that little hollow there. It would become quite a lot smaller once they'd started already, but it did look like the hornbills were starting to check it out as a possible nesting site. And while we head on towards where those lines are, I'm just going to ask for a quick update. Stations with Karula Tingana. Any more about that? Copy, thanks, Tux. Looks like time to go have a quick look there. So, as you guys might have realized from the beginning of the sunset safari, unfortunately at the moment Wendy is having some signal difficulties in this area. So if you do lose me, I will be trying to get into a static spot to make sure we can see those lions. But while we make our way there, we've got a question from Reese. Hi Reese. Reese said, well, I know Africa's home, but if you could live in any other continent, which would it be? There wouldn't, Reese, to be honest. But I probably think it'd probably be South America if push comes to shove, around the Pantanal, somewhere around there. It's got to be warm. It's got to be big cats and lots of animals. So, or maybe even India. But I think India is just a little bit too populated for me. I think it would have to be somewhere rural Brazil. So we got that report of my favorite animal, the African wild dog, earlier today. Mike is saying he's been to Africa multiple times, both for pleasure and for study, and he's never seen wild dogs. Well, Mike, you're just going to have to come back and back and back and back until you see them. They are absolutely amazing. And Mike likes to know how often do we see them in this area? Mike, unfortunately, from a wild dog point of view, our traverse is quite small. An average pack of wild dogs holds a home range of about 60,000 hectares. That's basically the whole Sabi Sands Game Reserve. But we're quite fortunate. We probably see them 3 or 4 times a month, so once a week. But when they are around, sometimes you can see them multiple days in a row. And we do go through patches where we don't see them for a month and a half at a time, and then a week where we'll see them 4 times or 5 times. So we're coming up to Sydney's waterhole now. There's a hippo out of the water as well. I can see the lions there completely flat next to a game drive vehicle. Looks like quite a young hippo out the water there, but quite a long way from the lions and opposite side of the dam. Lazy lions. So you can see nice cool weather, the hippos making their way towards the edge of the water to head out feeding. And it looks like that one hippo, it looks like it was almost eating elephant dung there. And definitely no grass on that barren piece of sand. There's a little guy coming out now. And you probably find the hippos know that there's very little threat from those lions that are so fat at the moment. So the one at the back is a little one, probably 6. Oh, there's quite a few little ones there. It's like a little nursery group of hippos coming to be mischievous out on the edge. The youngest one is the one in that little group of 4 to there with the mouth open at the moment. Now, he got a fight. He got a fight. Bravery was not on his side. I don't know what scared him, but something gave him a fright, and all the other little ones in that little nursery group, and they piled into the water. The lions haven't moved, so it certainly wasn't them, and that other sub-adult hippo didn't move at all. Now, unfortunately, we're not going to get the best view of these lions, but we can get you quite an epic vulture silhouette against a dark and ominous African sky. So obviously, filming out in the African bush on a daily basis, we come across some quite smelly carcasses, sometimes maggot filled, and obviously there's a few birds who love a rotting carcass. And Miles Sue is wondering, does the smell of the rotting carcasses and seeing all this rotting meat around ever put us off eating meat? Well, I'll ask Brian if it does him, but me, I'm immune. I could probably eat a huge steak sandwich while sitting next to a rotting maggot-filled carcass and not be bothered at all. But I've been very fortunate. I've grown up with these type of scenarios. So all you do is just don't breathe through your nose, breathe through your mouth, and you don't smell it. But even if you spend enough time around the carcasses, you even get used to the smell. So for me, not such a problem. Brian, you?
No, not such a problem.
No, but it doesn't bother Brian either. I'm sure there are a few more sensitive souls in our team that might not like it as much. Whenever I see vultures sitting like that, it reminds me of the good old Disney's Jungle Book. Oh, look who's arrived! And just as I was hoping, Howard has made an appearance. Two Howards, a sub-adult Howard and a large Howard. I'm sure they can smell that carcass. Oh, and there's another hyena calling off. So for those who are new, I just nicknamed all hyenas Howard after a cardboard cutout of a hyena we used on a film shoot, testing cognition studies. Ooh, go get him. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens. These lions have been providing quite a lot of scraps for the hyenas. Oh, let's come here. I think she's might start calling for backup. Blowing.
Hello everybody, sorry about that. I'm afraid Brent's signal is not particularly stable where he is. After all, he just wants to take more photographs of himself. I'm not sure which it is. I think probably the former though. So he is in that dodgy section near the lions. So much like the beginning of the drive, that's why you can't see him right now. I'm sure what he'll do is probably move the car into a position where there is a bit more signal. What we are doing, we're back on Djuma, and we're here actually quite near the far east of Djuma. And I've come this way mainly because there is a huge black cloud in this area, and it sort of drew me towards it with an unstoppable, I don't know, force really. I wanted to come out and sort of be underneath it. It seemed to have this huge power. There it is, coming in over Djuma. There's still some bluish sky in front of it, right above our heads there's some bluish sky. There we go, brilliant Andrew, very artistic of you. And then there's the big grey cloud in front of us. And we've come out to the far east just to see what else there is on offer in this part. I know that Brent had reports of wild dogs heading towards us, possibly from Torchwood, possibly from Nkoro. Spot them here. Of course, if we do see them, unfortunately because of the spotlight we won't be able to view them. So we don't view diurnal animals at night time with the light. This tends to give them a bit of a disadvantage, and we don't want to affect any animal out here negatively. Alright, Brent is okay with the signal. He's got a hyena. Let's go back to him. I'll see you just now.
Patience is what the hyena's key is. She's just laid down. I'm going to lift the light up a bit so you can see where the lions are. The lions are all lying over there. So guys, I just got to be on the radio. only one station here, but I'm on the Dobbelshoek boundary, and you can make your way. There's a Mnisimbil at the moment. So there's a Mnisimbil here at the moment, but they're lalapans and just bonagash there. Oh, what's that behind it? More hyenas. I just heard something move behind it. Just have a quick look over Brian's head. Not yet. Well, the hippos are coming out again. That little nursery group again. I think it's more playing than anything else. Hyenas just lying there watching, so the hippos are, there we go. So a very big, warm, Wild Earth welcome to Steve, who this is his first time ever watching Safari Live. Well, a really big welcome from all of us out here, and I'm sure from all the other viewers will make you feel very welcome, Steve. Steve's got an eye, and he said he heard that the closest living relative are whales, and he finds that very hard to believe. Well, living relative whales, it is a bit of a push when you think about it, but also elephants are quite closely related to whales. They come from an animal that is, hello everyone, as an animal, so hippos and elephants have come from an animal that has gone into the ocean, and that ancestor became whales, but another ancestor of that broke away and came back out of the ocean. That's why they have very peculiar and very heavy body sets, and also the testicles are on the inside, which is quite unusual. Ooh, Howard's up. Come on, call for some reinforcements. It's probably, bellies are so full, they think, is it worth harassing these lions? Of course it is. I'm a hyena, that's my job. You hear that low lowing? I'm hoping they give us some nice loud calls shortly. Ooh. Ooh, tail's coming up a little bit. Look at them getting themselves really excited. sure they're going to be hoping for a few more individuals to come in here. And they're actually jogging off towards the lions now. And we saw some very interesting behavior. That one that ran in, definitely submissive. So the one closest to us now is a submissive, just from the behavior. Oh, not quite ready to charge the lions yet. But this is what hyena do. These two will get themselves going, and they'll probably be heard by some others. Sorry, let's move around. And then get some others going, and others going. It takes quite a few hyena to get themselves into a sort of frenzy enough to lions. Let's see, tail up, excitement. Oh, I do love hyenas. Coming right up to us. And see that half cocktail. I'm going to just follow them, see if they find another hyena, collect another individual to start getting excited. Very much a social animal, so one will feed off the other. They've come back to where this other carcass was a while ago. Excited, and there we go. Well, it's junior, but it is a third hyena. And again, a dominant over the there we go, you can see them getting themselves going now, running back towards the lions. And those eyes, those sort of like lights you see below us, up ahead, those are the lions. Craig, I'm on the Buffelshoek boundary, so it's still quite a long way, but I'm with 3 of Nisi at the junction with Sandy Patch. A bit more greeting there. Just stand by one while I just move my spotlight slightly for a second. There we go. Going on, hoping, I don't know, it doesn't look like they're that excited. Their full bellies will cause them not to get too worked up, but you never know with hyenas. I'm going to have to move. We might lose signal for a second. Sorry, I do apologize for that. This is just an incredibly bad area for this vehicle. would seem weird.
It would seem bizarre in the extreme. How much time? What?
He lost you.
Well, I shouldn't have lost us.
The hyenas are right at the edge of the light. And you can see the hyenas moving away there. Wrong radio, you're talking to me. I'm still talking like I'm presenting. You're on my channel.
Hello everybody. That was a remarkably well-timed crash cut. We've got hyena. I'll try and follow them. They are not slow. There's another one coming. That is wonderful. So I know Brent is following some hyena. They're definitely not the same ones, unless that hyena is the world sprint champion of hyenas. Let's just go around the corner here and see if we can't see him. Along a game path through there and following hyenas at high speed through the bush will probably just chase them. We'll just pop up to the junction here and see if he doesn't pop out. I don't know where he's running. They're normally, if they're running like that, it's normally for a purpose. Looks like a male. So not a very large one. It doesn't pop out here. Ah, there he is. Here he comes. You can probably just see his eyes in the darkness. There he comes. Hi fella, where are you going? What's the hurry? So we are absolutely nowhere near Brent, just in case you were worrying or wondering whether this hyena was going to, this is not a male, it's a female. She's the other side of the property, completely from where Brent's are. So she's foraging for something else. I think we'll probably try and follow her. Sorry, that just rooted by mistake. Well, I tried to turn the immobilizer off. The wisdom of having an immobilizer in the bush, of course, is suspect. Okay, go back to Brent. He's got lions and hyenas. Much better. See you just now.
So, sorry about that, folks. Really bad signal for us. 60 meters, and I said she had lost her tails from hyenas, so it's very likely that she doesn't like them much at all. So guys, this other vehicle is just going to have to go past. I'm just lifting the light for a second so I don't blind poor Craig.
Thank you. I'll try not to block your view too much.
So the hyenas sort of, two of those hyenas just ran in and pushed, and just, I think it was a very much a hyena tactic. All the lines have gone flat. One of them has there. Well, let's just use the other light. That's quite pretty. And they will just push to see what their reaction is, and once they get that reaction, they now know whether it's worth pushing a little bit further right now or coming back later. So let's see if we can see where those hyenas, they disappeared up here. They didn't go far, and I'm sure they'll be back again shortly. And let's just put them back on the lines. And they're having a drink now after that bout of exercise. So Gecko was wondering, can a hyena outrun a lion? Over a big open area like this, where they can sort of manage from what distance the lion chases them, those lions have got very full bellies, so they're not going to be the most serious chasing. Over a long distance, easily outrun a lion, but over a very short distance, sort of 50-60 meters, probably not. It also depends always just on that individual scenario that's happening. There, the hyena's back. So as I said, the hyenas will come back and testing those lions to see whether it's worth going a bit further. So obviously a lot of predators are very much nocturnal. There we go, there's hyenas with lions, and Joyce in New Hampshire is wondering, can hyenas see in the dark? Most definitely, Joyce. They are mostly nocturnal hunters when they do hunt, and they're far more active in the hours of darkness than light, just like the lions. Those hyenas are going back to where the lions left that carcass, so I'm sorry if you get black screen from you guys, but I need to get in there to see if those hyenas run towards us.
Hello, sorry about that again everybody, you're back with me. Our hyena went into this block here just to my left hand side. Unfortunately it was very thick and I didn't really want to chase him through that, so we came around onto the cheetah cut line, and well, he hasn't really popped out. He might pop out behind us at some stage, but possibly not. So we'll carry on going. Brent, of course, as you can see, is driving at 165 miles an hour. And obviously in that area Wendy is not going to cope, so we'll wait for him to slow down and stop, and that'll bring his picture back, and then we'll send you back over to him. We did see a chameleon while you were away. It was very high up in a tree. I don't think I've seen one that high up in a tree. It was about sort of... Right, Brent is back. See you later.
So we can see those tails up again. The meat's just behind that bush behind them. Not the bush they're sniffing at the moment, but the lions are watching them from a bit of a distance. Let's see if they decide to try and push their luck a little further. No. Moving away. So the meat's just in there, but there are vehicles right there. So I can't actually put my light in there because I'll shine on people. And Marin from the Strand in the Western Cape is wondering why a hyena is designed like it is, with the front legs much longer than the back legs. And if you also look at that, they've got that incredibly thick, big neck, and those powerful long front legs are to hold that weight, so they can actually carry incredibly heavy pieces of meat and bone over long distances. So that's part of that design, and also that design is very good for stamina, so they can keep going at a run for a very, very long time. So it's a design for stamina and strength rather than brute force and power like a lion. Oh, I hear something in the bush. Where has it gone? I think it's another hyena. They're wandering all around here. Unfortunately, we can't really move from the spot right now without losing signal. And I thought we might be in a good spot if the hyenas did make a rush at what's left of the meat, because if they did steal it, they more than likely would have run this way, away from the rest of the pride. So I was just trying to get us into a good spot. And I know if I move again, we'll lose signal as I go through this dip to the other side. But from what I can see with the other vehicles around here, it looks like not much is happening now. The lions are all sleeping. The hyenas are moved off. And that's just from watching their spotlight. And I think that's about the most action we're going to get for the next little bit. Okay, you're just going to have to bear with me. We might lose signal again, but I can't see anything of what the lions are doing from this exact position. So I'm going to have to cross. Oh wait, there we go. Brian, did you get that there? It is very far. You can just spot a lion in someone else's spotlight. Oh, they've taken it off. Okay, I was thinking we should get James in here, but I think everything's calmed down now, and they're not that. The hyenas have actually gone away, so probably not 100% necessary now. But we will see what he's been up to.
Hello everybody, Brent is just going to reposition, of course. What we're doing is making our way towards that area just in case the action does pick up again, and then we can move in and just help out a bit with the signal. So that's why we're driving a bit quickly. We don't want you to miss out, of course. We don't have very long left, so we'll get there as fast as we can, as fast as it's safe on jigger, which normally means about 15 kilometers an hour, because the steering box has a mind entirely of its own. We didn't, and now we're probably about place bad, I'm afraid. That's a pretty normal place. So we're now about 2 minutes away from Brent. Buffalo. We'll just have to slow down as we go past him. Hello, Mr. Beefy. Oh, there is another one. You all chaps will want to be careful out here. They're picking your number off at will. Just the two of them, I think. Two old bulls, probably making their way eventually down to the Djuma waterhole. Right, we're not far now. You might actually be able to see the glow on the horizon there. You can probably see it. That's where Brent is. Temperatures remain pretty constant the whole day, you know. It hasn't warmed up a great deal, probably not gone above 20 degrees, and started off probably at about 16. It is going to warm up a bit tomorrow. Brent is now calling me. Go ahead. Lovely, thanks, Brenty. What is the best position? Brent is having to leave, I'm afraid. So Brent has had to leave because of the signal. We are now, well, I was overestimating our speed. We're about 2 minutes away now. I'm not going to talk a great deal while we're driving at this speed. One doesn't want to drive into the back end of an elephant, of course. We're not driving that fast, by the way. The speed limit on the reserve is about 40 kilometers per hour. We're doing about 30, now we're doing about 20. But at night, you've got to be extra careful. Sun coming over the horizon there. That's going to blind us completely. Watch out, everybody, cover your eyes. Enemy spacecraft ahead. It's Brent Leo Smith. There we go, the lights have gone off. Just switch that one off. Hello, Brent. We'll carry on.
Forward on!
Right, we're not far now. Right, getting into the area. We don't also want to drive into the sighting too fast and cause a ruckus. And while we're driving in, Emily or M from London would like to get their feet wet.
They're hunting around when the sun's setting and around as the sun's rising at first light. So crepuscular. Come on, comedians. For them hunting. And I used to make my guests wake up much earlier to get on the wild dog hunts. Oh, Ziziphus, always a good comedian tree, or a buffalo thorn. Oh, let's check carefully.
Hi everybody, I'm afraid that's all that there is at the sighting at the moment. Between Brent leaving and us arriving, they've obviously either pulled the buffalo carcass behind there or the hyena have left or something like that. I'm not entirely sure what's happening, but you can see there are two vehicles in there having a good look. Lucky old them. Unfortunately, it is, as I'm sure Brent told you, on Buffelshoek, a farm that we are not allowed to traverse. So I think that's it for what was unquestionably a magnificent sighting for you all. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'm sorry that I can't give you more of it. Hello there. We meet again, yes. We're going to get out of your way, and then you can go in there.
No, we've been.
Oh, you've been. All we can see is guarri bushes, so we're going to pull out, unfortunately. Okay. Right, bye-bye. Have a good evening. Okay, everyone, that's it, I'm afraid. Had very good predator viewing today. Lots of hyenas, 2 leopards, and 6 lions. I think that's a pretty good return for a day's work.
Is wondering, is it possible that whichever has absconded with those mystery 3 lions? And also, do I have any clue who those 3 lions are? Crystal, I can definitely tell you, without a matter of a fact or a doubt in my mind, that they are lions. And that's about where it ends. There's a whole bunch of speculation. That could be Talamati subadults. There could be another pride from the Manuleti. And as to where they've gone, they moved north into the Manuleti the last I heard. So no further update. And to where the missing Salala has gone, I will have to... I'll teach you a nice Shangaan word.
Well, as you joined us, of course, because Mr. Murphy is very clearly on drive with us this evening, we've lost we've lost the animal. 2 hyenas making their way towards the lions. We'll see how long we can follow them for. I think it'll probably be about 3.5 seconds before we lose you again. There they go. In fact, I'm not going to follow them because they are going straight into that black hole of signal. And you can see possibly a little bit of shining in the background there. That's right next to where the lions have killed. Yeah, they're going straight there. There might be a little bit of action later on, but I'm afraid we will not be watching it, not with this level of signal. Sorry about that. But like I said just before we crash cut for the, I think it was probably the 75th time, that is a very dodgy area, and we were very lucky to get any signal there today, and we've had a spectacular day as far as the predators go. 2 leopards, many hyenas, lots and lots of lions. So thank you very much to all of you for your patience. Again, I remain astonished by the quality of the questions and comments we had. Particular highlight Judy's question about the evolution of cooperative hunting in lions and why leopards don't do it. So thank you for that. Big thank you to Andrew on camera. Thank you, Andrew. And of course to Brent and Brian, and I'll hand you back to them via Tara and Louise, who of course have done a sterling job from the final control. Until tomorrow morning during the dawn safari, weather allowing, and I think it will, this is me signing off. Stay safe and happy wherever you are in the world, and we'll see you in the morning. Bye bye.
You know what, I'm in 2 minds to actually go over there early tomorrow morning with a tow road and go drag that carcass into a decent signal area. Even if the lions complain, I'll just wave my finger at them. But no, unfortunately, that is one of the things we have to face sometimes, being out in the bush and bringing the African bush to you live twice a day. And sometimes, unfortunately, we are in those little black holes, or the gremlins come out. But fortunately, most of the time it seems that it works quite well. So, sorry Crystal, we got interrupted there as James had a hyena, and I was saying about those, or where the missing Salala lion was, is I was trying to teach you a nice Shangaan word, and the 3 mystery lionesses, as to who they are and where the missing Salala is. Angustuf, which basically in Shangaan means I don't know. I have not a clue, to be completely honest. And we must remember that a lot of what we do, we're very lucky that we are able to see these animals regularly and so often, so we do get an idea of what's going on, but every now and then they love to throw us a curveball. Sunset Safari, it's been great having you on there. I've had a thoroughly enjoyable time, and Brian and I have been on form, even with our answers of questions, and it has been so interesting with those lions. And as you say, hopefully we will be able to figure out who's who and who's gone where and what's what. But that's one of the fascinating things about being out here on a daily basis. We get to see these often exchanges that don't happen between animals that maybe are related, maybe not, maybe they're distant cousins, maybe they're just all staying in this little corner, avoiding the Birminghams, the Majingalans, the Matimbas and the Salatis. There's this little area that's free of male lions for now, but that could change tomorrow. As I heard this morning, the Birminghams are not far from our southern boundary, with the Styx lioness, or 4 of them are, and then one of them is actually much closer. So has he heard all this commotion with the buffalo? Is he slowly making his way up? Are the Tsalalas going to run to the north into the Manyuleti, or they're going to try and work their way back down to their more traditional home range around the Sand River? And those are questions that hopefully we'll be able to answer over the next month or two as the lion dynamics change completely. And that is what is so exciting about being out here, and it's been so great. I'm still on a high after finding that hyena skull this morning on the bushwalk, and that is definitely not something you find every day. You very, very seldom find predator skulls out there, and if any of you missed it, we'll bring it on drive at some point so we can have another look at it. So those who missed the sunrise safari can have a look at what a hyena skull looks like, and we can actually have a look at those carnassial crests and how those muscles are joined, and those incredibly powerful crushing jaws. So don't forget to join us bright and early for the sunrise safari. It'll be James, myself, Brian and Andrew again, and another thank you to Tara and Lou in final control, and Eugene. And for the last few seconds we're just going to listen to the incredible sounds of the African bush.